Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Saskia, aka Sassy Colouring, and I am so glad you could join me for my unboxing of January's Scrawler box. Scrawler box is a monthly subscription art box. Each month it features a different artist and is filled with beautiful art supplies. This video is my opinion on the box. Yours may differ, and that's fine. As you can see, the box did take a bit of a beating getting to me again, but once I opened it up I found that all the contents were untouched and unharmed, thankfully. So without further ado, let the excitement commence and let's see what is in the January Scrawler box. This box did take quite a while to get to me. They normally ship out around the 10th of the month, so you get it a week or so after that, but I didn't get it until the start of February. However, it was a chance for me to get in touch with customer services and find out what was going on, and they were super helpful, and obviously you can see I got my box not long after. So let's start by a quick look through our Scrawler zine, and obviously in here is where you get the run through of what you've got inside in the box with a bit of information on each one. We have a look at the artist, who this month is Chris Lambert. I hope I pronounced that right, I think I did. Where you can see his really pretty artwork and the interview that he did. One of my favourite bits for this was, do you have any New Year's resolutions for 2021? Yes, draw more and worry less. Let's all take a leaf out of his book. Next we have the Scrawler tips and the notes from the artist, and then the Scrawler gallery where we see some of the beautiful artwork from people over the last couple of months. Then the Scrawler extra and the Scrawler update. I'm not going to read it to you because if you want to read it then you need to buy your own Scrawler box. So after last month's box I couldn't wait for this one to arrive, and believe me, I was not disappointed. So firstly we have this beautiful art print from the artist Chris Lambert, aka Crease, with a bit of bump on the back about him and where you can find his work, etc. Really pretty, love the style, it's just a really nice print. Next we have the Claire Fontaine A5 comic book. You can really feel the weight and the quality with this. It says that it's a mini sketchbook to fill with your doodles, and don't be afraid to use both sides because it won't bleed through. So anybody who uses kind of Copics or markers, alcohol markers, this would be amazing. So I can't wait to try that out. Then the exciting bit is opening up this little package and finding out what's inside in here. So as always we have the card that tells us a bit more in depth about the things that we have in the package. Then in the January box we've had two sweet treats because there was one missing from the December box. So we have this refresher. If anybody doesn't know what a refresher is, what have you been doing with your life? These are my favourite things. And then this other chocolate thingy, chocolatey sweetie thing. Happy days, I'm happy. But back to the art supplies, we have a fine liner, black fine liner pen, and this is a Millennium 03 black fine liner. I can't pronounce the name and I'm not even going to try, but it's a 03, so a really good size for line drawing. So we are told that the, let's go, Curtake 03 black fine liner is ideal for your fine lining needs. It is good for, what's it say, an essential for any doodler. Next we have the Blackwing and Scrawler box special edition pencil with a little rubber on the end or eraser on the end, whatever you want to call it. Really nice writing down the barrel of the pencil. It's a cute pencil. What can I say? It is a pencil. The Scrawler zine tells us that it's a high quality graphite, a balanced graphite core for smooth sketching. So let's get this sharpened up and see how smooth it actually is. It also tells us that the eraser at the end is removable and replaceable. I'm not going to fight with that because I couldn't get it out easily, so I'm just going to leave it and fight with it when I need to. And last but by no means least, we have 3 Tombow ABT Pro markers. These lovely markers are alcohol based with 2 versatile tips, a nylon brush tip and then a chisel tip, a straight edge chisel for thick and thin mark making. So like most alcohol markers, they have the double-ended, and it depends what you're drawing, how much space you've got to draw and colour, etc. as to which side you would use. But I do like the chisel and I do like the brush nibs. So you can see how the box is influenced by this month's artist, Chris Lambert, and as I'm quite drawn to his work, I feel like this is going to be a fun challenge to try and use all the instruments that they've given us in the book and put together my own small piece of art just to play around with them rather than to make a beautiful piece of artwork. This is more about messing around with the materials you're given and also stepping outside your creative box, because I find I tend to do the same thing over and over with the same materials, and I've never used these Tombows before, so this will be interesting. My first tip would be to open your pen away from whatever paper you're writing or drawing on, because as you can see, as I opened the top of the marker, it was so inky that I splotched the whole paper with this kind of bluey green colour. So I'm just having a quick read through the Scrawler zine here, our tips, and it says things to try. When you're not using your markers, they are best stored upright and kept out of direct sunlight. Now this is really contradictory to what I've heard before, because I've always heard that you would store them horizontally, especially when they're double-ended markers, because you want the ink to stay even throughout the marker. Whereas when you store them upright, it'll go to one end, naturally to one end. So I wonder why they would give that advice. It gives a few other interesting tips, like let's go light and then go darker, because it's easier to cover up a light mistake than a dark one. Avoid damaging your markers, don't press too hard. Me and my heavy hands have to keep that in mind continuously. And before starting something, test out your markers on the paper to see what it looks like on the paper, how the paper works with the marker, etc, etc. So this is what I'm doing with this one. I want to see if it truly is a no bleed through paper, what the colours look like, and how the pens work. As you may or may not know, each month Scrawler box has like a challenge, and all it is to create something with the items inside the box and then share your results. So the note from the artist is that the most important thing when doodling in this way is not to have a plan. So after I've tested out these supplies, I'm going to try and draw a picture without much of a plan. From the person who likes to have every minute planned, this is going to be a bit of a nightmare, but again, out of the box, Saskia, think out the box. Let's get these creative, I'm not saying the word, juices. Let's get the creativeness flowing. So I did get a little bit carried away while I was messing around with the pencils, the pens, yada yada, but that's a really good thing because it shows you're enjoying the product. What I would like to say is that I tried layering them in the same way that I would the Copics and the Winsor Newton, and they didn't work exactly the same, but they did not bleed through this paper. This paper was a champion for whatever I threw at it, it just took. With the Tombow markers, what I would say is that the colours, although are in the same family with the blue and the green and the grey, they're not going to mix very well. So that's probably why it looks like a bit of a mess. But I still had fun with them. And as you can see, Copic and Winsor Newton did not bleed through either. So, my challenge, I just decided to have a bit of fun, mess around, have a look at what the Scrawler box was this month, have a look at the kind of designs that the artist was using, and then think about something that I could use this colour palette, because I didn't want to use anything other than what was in the box to do this picture. So it's just a bit of a doodle, no plan really, as the artist suggested, just had a bit of a rough sketch, and it ended up being a turtle. Did I create a masterpiece? Most certainly not. I realized as I was sketching how long it's been since I've actually used pencil and paper to draw. I don't know whether you'll catch it, but a couple of times I double tap my paper to erase a mark, which is what it would be on the iPad. So it was really nice to get back to a physical pencil and physical paper. Would I go back to drawing like this full time? I don't think so, because as I was inking the page, again, because I haven't done it for so long, I got quite frustrated that the lines, if I didn't draw the line exactly how I wanted, I couldn't erase it and go back and draw it better. So I definitely see the advantages of drawing digitally over pen and ink. So I also take my hat off to anybody who still does it the traditional way, because it's an art. It is definitely an art form to be able to draw with a pen and end up with a piece of work that looks good. Now what I would say is that this paper not only handled the markers really well, it handled the ink like a champ. The fine liner, another amazing fine liner, it is I'm going to tell you what it's called, the Kurtake, Kuretake. That's the brand of the pen, and when I was erasing the pencil marks, it didn't smudge, it didn't move. It was really, really impressive. Normally, if I was drawing pen and ink or fine lining, I would have used maybe a size 4 or 5 for this, so the 3 felt very thin. But again, I was working with what was in the box, and 3s are a really nice size if you're starting out to ink your line drawings. The pencil, what can I say? It's a really nice pencil. It is really smooth to use. It rubbed out beautifully. It didn't leave that kind of shadowy mark on the paper. So yeah, for me saying, oh, it's just a pencil, it's a really nice pencil to use. So I'm just going to speed the video up and finish off my doodle, and I will come back to you at the end with my final thoughts on the art supplies that were in this box and the box in general for January. Enjoy! Well, I hope you found that interesting in some way. Again, it didn't end up being a masterpiece. It was quite sloppy, but I did enjoy the process, trying to get some of the elements of the artist into the page with just these items to use. Once again, my overall impression of this box is it's fantastic. I think no matter what level you're at, whether you're a complete beginner or a seasoned artist, this box is going to have something for you. If you've used the materials before, great. If you haven't, it's going to push you out of your comfort zone. I will leave a link in the description box below because I highly recommend Scrawler box. So until I see you next time, please stay safe, and as always my lovelies, stay sassy.